Hi everyone, a very good afternoon to all of you and welcome back once again on the YouTube channel of Career Launcher. Friends, we shall continue with solving the questions of quantitative aptitude and in the last two lectures we have seen plenty of questions from time and work, the questions which have appeared in the previous year papers, right? So we shall continue the same thing today with some more questions which are from the previous year, number one, and the questions which are also if not they are directly picked up from the previous year papers. These questions are made on the similar lines of the questions that have already appeared in the previous year papers, right? So let's start solving these questions one by one. So I'll be displaying the questions on your screen, and we'll give you 2 to 3 minutes to work upon every question, and then I'll give you the most efficient way of solving these questions in this lecture. Okay. Now, simultaneously, I'll also be telling you about I'll be doing a little analysis of each and every question as far as how much is the difficulty level of that question, and what is the ideal time that needs to be taken to solve that question. Okay. So let's begin with the very first question of today's class. Question number one on your screen now. So I'll give you 3 minutes to solve this one. All right. Any answer for this one? Now, question says that Amal can complete a job in 10 days and Vimal can complete it in 8 days. Now, Amal, Vimal, and Kamal together complete the job in 4 days and are paid a total amount of rupees 1000 as remuneration. If this amount is shared by them in the proportion of their work, then Kamal's share in terms of rupees will be equal to how much? A question which is taken from CAT 2017. Yes, people, any answer? All right. So let's talk about this one. Let's have a complete understanding. Now, this one is very simple. And if you remember one of the questions that we have covered yesterday, the last one, and it is made on the similar lines. Okay. Now, Amal can complete a piece of work in 10 days and Bimal in 8 days. Now, the third person, Amal, Bimal, together completes the job in 4 days, right? So let's assume that this third person can finish the job alone in X number of days, right? So now three of them together, if they are working, the work is finished in 4 days. So we can make an equation which is for 1 day work, okay? So 1 day work of Amal, which will be 1 upon 10, plus 1 day work of Bimal, which is 1 upon 8, plus 1 day work of Kamal, which can be written as 1 upon x, is equal to the net 1 day work. Now, net 1 day work, since the total work is finished in 4 days, so net 1 day work will be 1 upon 4. Now, using this, you can find out the value of x. So 1 upon x will be equal to 1 upon 4 minus 1 upon 10 minus 1 upon 8. Simplify this, very basic calculations. So LCM is 40. So 10 plus 4, sorry, 10 minus 4 minus 5, and that comes out to be 1 upon 40. So the value of x is equal to 40. Correct? So now look at the bottom of the screen. Amal, Bimal, and Kamal. Amal can finish the work in 10 days, Bimal can finish in 8 days, and Kamal will finish it in 40 days. Now, the amount of work that they are doing is directly proportional to the efficiency of every person. Also, efficiency is inversely proportional to the number of days taken, right? So I can say that the ratio of the work done or the ratio of the efficiencies of these three people will be 1 upon 10 is to 1 upon 8 is to 1 upon 40, right? Upon simplification, it will be equal to 4 is to 5 is to 1. So whatever money that they will receive, if that money is distributed among them as per the amount of work in proportion of the amount of work that they have done, so the total money will be distributed to them or between them in the ratio of 4 is to 5 is to 1. Okay, so the money is 1000 rupees. So divide 1000 rupees in the ratio 4 is to 5 is to 1. Amal will receive 400, Bimal will receive 500, and Kamal will receive rupees 100. So option A should be the correct answer of this one. All right. So how much will Kamal receive as his share? It will be equal to 100 rupees. The correct answer, option A. All right. So that was question number 1. Let's move on and look at question number 2. Now the level of difficulty you will see, it will be raised a little bit in the further questions. Okay. So next question, question number 2 on your screen now. Now the language of this question is very important. So be careful about the language. Okay. Now, next question says A, B, and C takes 15, 20, and 25 days respectively to finish a piece of work. What will be the minimum number of days in which the work will be finished if, now this is important, okay? Now, if not more than two of them will work on a single day and no two consecutive days have same pair working. So you'll have to take care of two conditions. Not more than two of them will work on a single day, and no two consecutive days will have same pair working. Okay? Be careful with the language of this question. It's very good question. Okay, let's do it. Shall we? Shall we? Let's look out for this. Now, first of all, in this type of questions, what we can do is when you are given the number of days taken by all three of them, A, B, and C. So you can start by assuming the total quantity of work. So let's say the total work, I'm writing at the top of the screen. Let's say the total work is a number. To ease down the calculations, you can assume this number as the LCM of these three numbers. Okay. So I'll assume the total work as 300 units. So A's 1 day work will be 300 divided by 15, that is 20, right? A very common way of solving these questions. B's 1 day work will be 15 and C's 1 day work will be 12 units. All right. The question is, we'll have to minimize the number of days in which the work can be completed such that not more than two of them will work on a single day. So that means if I want to minimize the number of days, I should be maximizing the number of people who are working at a time. Okay. Now they are saying not more than two of them can work. So I'll make two of them work. And like if I make two of them work, I can make three different pairs in which they can work. Now, if A and B will work on a single day, 20 plus 15, they can finish 35 units of work. Similarly, if B and C will work on a single day, they will do 15 plus 12, that is 27 units of work. And the third pair, if A and C will work on a single day, they can finish 20 plus 12, that is 32 units of work. All right. Now, if I want the work to be finished as soon as possible in the minimum amount of time, I should be using the most efficient pair first of all. Okay. So I should be starting the work on the first day with A and B, right? Now, A and B can finish 35 units of work on one day. Now, the second day, since I cannot select the same pair on two consecutive days, so on the second day, I have to change the pair. Okay. So the second pair, the second most efficient pair is A and C, who will do 32 units of work in a single day, right? So first day, 35 units is done. Second day, 32 units of work is done. Now, what about the third day? Now, since they are saying that we'll have to use different pairs on consecutive days, and they have not mentioned that we have to use all or we'll have to utilize all the three pairs. So in order to take care about the condition, on the third day, I can give the work to A and B and 35 units of work will be done. So first of all, AB, then AC, then AB, then AC, and so on. They'll keep working like this. Okay, right? So now if AB, AC, AB, AC, this type of like these pairs will work on alternate days. So I can say that on two consecutive days, 2 days में कितना काम finish हो रहा है? 35 plus 32, that is 67 units of work. Okay, so in every 2 days, 67 units of work will be done because these pairs will work repeatedly. Okay, also I have to finish 300 units of work. So if I look at the multiples of 2 days and the multiples of 67 units of work, I have to take it near to 300 units. So which number should be multiplied to 67 so that I'll get a number which is as close as 300 but not exceeding 300. 300 exceed nahi hona chahiye. So I'll multiply it by 4. 2 days को भी 4 से multiply करेंगे, right? So that means in 8 days, 67 multiplied by 4, that is 268 units of work will be finished, right? 268 units of work will be finished. Now, what will happen on the 9th day? 9th day, now it's whose turn? Which pair will work on the 9th day? It's the turn of the first pair AB, which can finish 35 units of work. But the leftover work is only 32 units. So they will take 32 over 35, this much fraction of the day to finish the remaining work. All right. So the total number of days that will be required will be 8 complete days plus 32 by 35 of a day, right? Of the 9th day. So 8 plus 32 by 35, which is option C among the 4 options. Okay, so option C is the correct answer for this question, right? Now I'll repeat what I have done. So first of all, I have calculated 1 day work of each of these persons, and then I have taken three different pairs because I have to finish the work in minimum possible number of days. And the question says that not more than two of them can work on a single day. दो से ज्यादा लोग काम नहीं कर सकते एक सिंगल डे में. तो मैं क्या करूंगा, मुझे काम कम से कम डेज में फिनिश कराना है. सो आई एम्प्लॉय मैक्सिमम नंबर ऑफ पीपल विच इज 2 here. So now I'll divide all three people in these pairs A, B, B, C and AC and have written 1 day work of each of these pairs. Okay. Now I have selected two most efficient pairs which are AB and AC who will keep working on alternate days to finish the piece of work. All right. So this is the whole concept behind this question. All right. Let's move on and look at the next question, question number 3. Now, if I'll go back to the previous one, the previous question was not that difficult. It's just the language that you'll have to understand. So I can say that the level of difficulty of this question can be rated as 6 on 10. And 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes is good enough time to solve this question. Okay, let's look at the next one, question number 3. Now, this one is also very tricky. So be careful while solving this. So pipes A and B can fill an empty tank in 20 and 30 minutes respectively. And another pipe C can empty the full tank in 15 minutes. So there are two inlets and one outlet pipe. If A, B and C are opened and closed for 1 minute each, one after the other in the sequence A, B and then C. Understand this thing. So पहले क्या किया? A को open किया for 1 minute and then it is closed. Then B is open for 1 minute, then C is open for 1 minute, and so on repeatedly, cyclically. So A, B, and C are opened and closed for 1 minute each, one after the other in the sequence. First of all, A, B, C, then A, B, C in the cyclic order. Okay. Then we'll have to find out after how many minutes the tank will be completely filled. Now the options are such that they will attract you to mark an incorrect answer. So if you'll go in a wrong direction, whatever answer that you will receive, you will find it among the options. Okay, so let's discuss this tricky one. So I have three pipes A, B, and C. Their times are given. So obviously I'll start by assuming the total quantity of work. Okay, so let's say total quantity of work is the LCM of 20, 30, and 15. So the LCM of 20, 30, and 15 is 60 units. Okay, so 60 units is the total work that we can assume, right? Now for A, B, and C, what is their 1 minute work? So A in 1 minute can fill 60 divided by 20, that is 3 units. I'm writing plus because it's an inlet pipe. Similarly, B, 60 divided by 30, that is 2 units. And C, 60 divided by 15, 4 units. But since it's an outlet pipe, I'll put a negative sign in front of this. Okay. Now for the first minute, A will work, will fill 3 units of water. In the second minute, B will work, will fill 2 units of water. And in the third minute, C will work and will take out 4 units of water. So I can say that in 3 minutes, the net quantity that will be filled will be 3 plus 2 minus 4, that is 1 unit. Okay. So in every 3 minutes, 1 unit of tank will be filled. Now the total work is 60 units. So the first thing that you will think after doing the previous question is, let's multiply it by 60, and now in 180 minutes, the tank is completely filled. Okay. But there is a big problem here. Let's analyze the problem. Okay. Now, if I'll go back to the previous question where everybody was doing some positive work. So that means after 8 days, on the 9th day, the pair who was working, that was contributing towards the work. And when I'm doing some work and the work gets finished, I can say that that is the first time, or that is the earliest stage when the work gets completed. Now, understand what has happened in this question number 3. So A, B, and C are working for 1 minute each alternately, right? So first minute A has worked, second minute B has worked, third minute C has worked. Now what C is doing, understand what exactly C is doing. C is taking out some water, right? Am I clear? C is an outlet pipe. So an outlet pipe will take out some water. And if you'll analyze that, if I'll repeat these 3 minutes cycles 60 times, so that means in the last minute, 180th minute, C has worked and C ने क्या किया? C ने पानी निकाल लिया. Doesn't it seems odd कि एक पाइप ने पानी निकाला और टैंक फुल हो गया, right? So that means before C has worked, the tank was full before that. राइट. सो सी के लास्ट मिनट में काम करने से पहले ही टैंक फुल हो चुका था, इनफैक्ट ओवरफ्लो होना शुरू हो गया था, राइट. सो दैट इज नॉट द फर्स्ट टाइम व्हेन द टैंक वाज कंप्लीटली फिल्ड. ओके, राइट. सो नाउ हाउ टू टैकल दिस टाइप ऑफ क्वेश्चंस व्हेन the last person or the last pipe which is working is an outlet pipe or is doing some negative work. Okay, so what I'll do is, instead of targeting 60 units of total work, listen to this very carefully. Instead of targeting 60 units of total work, okay, I'll say that either of A or B must have worked at the end and the tank would completely get filled. Okay, so when A and B will work, either of A and B will work and they will contribute in filling the tank. And then at that moment, once A or B, either of them has worked, then the work will be completed. Okay, it's not the person who is doing the negative work. It's not the pipe which is taking out the water is helping to fill the tank. Okay, so what is the total quantity of work done by A and B? So मैंने क्या assume किया? A और B ने काम किया होगा and then tank full हुआ होगा, right? So that means 3-minute complete cycles will not be repeated. 3 minutes की complete cycles repeat नहीं हुई होंगी. So I will remove the work done by A and B, that is 5 units from the total 60 units. So 60 minus 5 is 55 units, and I will make sure that 55 units of work is done. So 55 units of work is done in 3 multiplied by 55, that is 165 minutes. Okay, so I have targeted 55 units of work. Okay, that is obtained by subtracting 5, the work done by A and B, from the total quantity of work. Okay, so after 165 minutes, I know that 55 units of work has been done. So I have run complete 3-minute cycles. Okay, Now, what after 65 minutes? A will work, and how much A will work? A will contribute 3 units, right? And then B will work, B will contribute 2 units, right? Each of them will work for 1 minute each. So 165 plus these 2 minutes. That means after 167 minutes, what will be the position of the tank? It will be 55 plus 3 plus 2, that is 60 units. And that will be the first time when the tank will get completely filled. All right. So the answer of this question should be 167 minutes, not 180 minutes. All right. So among the options, we can mark option E, that is none of the above, as the answer. All right. I hope you would have understood this question. You would have understood this question completely. Okay. Go through this once again. Try and understand the concept underlying in this question, and then you will be able to tackle many more questions like this. Let's move towards the next one, question number 4. Now, this is one type of question. You may use rough work, definitely use rough work to solve this one. But this is one type of question that can be solved orally as well, without doing anything. Okay? So I'm giving you a minute. Let's see if you can give me an answer. Else, I'll explain you how this thing can be done orally. Question number 4. Pipe A and B can fill a tank in 40 and 24 hours respectively. If both are open together, then after how many hours B should be closed so that the tank is filled in a total of 30 hours. Okay, so let's tackle this and try to write as much less as possible. I'll be writing a few things, marking few things in the question so that you will understand. I'll avoid doing any kind of rough work. Okay. Now, A can fill the tank in 40 hours and B in 24 hours. These two things are given. Okay. Now, they both are open together. So, A is also opened, B is also opened. They're asking after how many hours pipe B should be closed. So, after how many hours pipe B should be closed, that means we'll have to find out for how many hours B has worked for. If I'll say that I have closed pipe B after 6 hours or after 8 hours, that means pipe B has worked for those many hours. Okay. So pipe B is closed. We are not closing pipe A. Obviously, someone will keep working. So pipe A is still open and the total amount of time taken to finish the work is 30 hours. Right? So I can say that A has definitely worked for 30 hours. Done? Okay. Now, A can fill the tank in 40 hours. It is given. So in 30 hours, that means 3/4 of the time. If 40 hours में वो tank को fill कर सकता है, so in 30 hours, A will fill 3/4 of the tank, right? A will do 3/4 of the total work. That means the remaining work, how much? 1/4 is done by B, right? B ने 1/4 काम किया होगा. अगर A ने 3/4 काम किया है, तो B ने 1/4 काम किया होगा, तभी तो काम finish हुआ है. Done? Now let's go back to B. Now B total work 24 hours में कर देता है, right? Total work 24 hours में finish कर देता है, right? B. So if B can finish the entire work in 24 hours, so 1/4 of the work will be done by B in how many hours? It will be done in 6 hours. right? So we can say that B must have worked for 6 hours, or pipe B should be closed after 6 hours so that the total work will be finished in 30 hours. So the correct answer of this question is option A, that is 6 hours. Okay, simple question. It looks tricky, but it was very simple. It can be done orally in less than 30 seconds, right? So I would rate this question because of the tricky nature of this question. I'll rate it as 6 on 10, but time to be taken not more than a minute. Okay, fine. Let's move on and look at our next question, question number 5. Again, we have seen a similar question in yesterday's lecture. A similar, not exactly the same, but somewhat this kind of question. All right, Prabhakar. I did not get answer for any of the previous questions from you. Good, still good to see you here. So your answer is 3 workers. Let's check if it is the correct answer or not. Group of workers was put on work for a job. From second day onwards, so basically on the first day, some group of workers are put on this job. From the second day onwards, one worker was withdrawn each day. So if let's say there are n workers in total, so on the first day, n workers are working. On the second day, n minus 1 are working. On the third day, n minus 2 are working. And the job was finished when the last worker was withdrawn. So the last worker must have worked for the last day alone, right? Now we started with n workers and every day one is removed. So that means in a total of n days, one worker, like on the last day, nth day, one worker must have worked. All right. Now, if I'll assume that every worker will do 1 unit of work in 1 day, so what will be the total quantity of work? What will be the total quantity of work? So work done will be equal to n plus n minus 1 plus n minus 2 plus and so on up till 1. Now what is this? This is the sum of first n natural numbers, which is equal to n into n plus 1 upon 2. So this is one manner in which the work is done. Okay, now let's look at the second way. They are saying that had no worker been withdrawn at any stage, right? So that means if n workers are working on daily basis, the group would have finished the job in 2/3 of the time. So total number of days taken would be 2/3 of the previous number of days. Now earlier, the total work was finished in n days, right? So now the work will be finished in 2/3 of n number of days, and this is also equal to the total work. You can equate these two and get the value of n. So n into n plus 1 divided by 2 is equal to n into 2/3 n, right? One n will get cancelled from both sides. So it will be 3n plus 3 is equal to 4n, and simplifying n is equal to 3. Now, is this what we have to find out? How many workers were there in the group? Yes, the number of workers in the group is equal to 3. That's all. Okay. Very basic way of framing two expressions total for the total amount of work, equating them and get the value of n, right? A very easy question. 5 on 10 is the level of difficulty. basically below average, and time needed 1.5 minute is more than enough for discussion. All right. Okay. Now let's move on and look at the last question for the day. Now it says that two people A and B are very lazy. Okay. If A works for 2 hours, he needs an hour's rest. If B works for 5 hours, he needs 1 hour's rest. Okay. So A will require 1 hour of rest after 2 hours of work, and B, after working for 5 hours, will require 1 hour of rest. Right? Now, if they work continuously, so if they work continuously, that means without resting, they can finish a job totally in 36 hours. By fulfilling their requirements of rest, how many hours would they now require to finish the job? It is given that the efficiency of both A and B are equal. Any answers? Okay. Now, one of the things that has made this question easy is A and B having equal efficiency. Okay, Prabhakar. So answer is 48 according to you. Let's check if it is the correct answer or not. Okay. Now, A and B have equal efficiency. So let's say A can finish 1 unit of work in 1 day. So does B. So A's 1 day work is 1 unit, and B's 1 day work is also 1 unit. Equal efficiencies given hai dono ki. Okay. So in 1 day, together A and B will finish 1 plus 1, that is 2 units of work. Sorry, in 1 hour. Now they are talking about hours, not days. Perfect. So in 1 hour, A and B together will finish 1 plus 1, that is 2 units of work. So 36 hours में कितना काम हो जाएगा? 36 multiplied by 2. 36 multiplied by 2, that is 72 units of work. Okay. So now A and B together will have to complete 72 units of work. So they have completed this, or they can complete this if they don't rest in 36 hours. Now the question is, by fulfilling their requirement of rest, in how many hours the work will be finished? Wonderful. So now A will work for 2 hours, will take 1 hour rest, and then work for 2 hours and then 1 hour rest, right? So I can say that in 6 hours, A has worked only for 4 hours, right? So in 6 hours, after 6 hours, the efficiency or the output, right, is of 4 hours only for A. Now for B works for 5 hours and takes 1 hour of rest. That means in 6 hours, B has worked for 5 hours. Now, if they are working together, in every 6 hours, A has worked for 4 hours and B has worked for 5 hours. That means the output every 6 hours is of net 9 hours, and hence they can finish 9 units of work in every 6 hours. Am I clear? So in every 6 hours, they can finish 9 units of work. It's absolutely fine. Now, what you must have done is you must have multiplied it by 8 on both sides. So that means, according to you, in 48 hours, they will finish 72 units of work. Okay, right? Now, think logically, what has happened in this last 48th hour? In the last 48th hour, both A and B must have taken rest. Now, should we include this? No, the last resting hour will not be included. And after 47 hours, it is the first time when after 47 hours, 72 units of work will be finished. I could have included the last 1 hour if any one of A or B is working in that hour. But this last hour, 48th hour, is the resting hour for both of them. That means they have already finished the work 1 hour before this. So the correct answer should be 47 hours. Now, Prabhakar, why you have given the incorrect answer? Because you have joined in late. So we have discussed one question previously. That was question number 3, I believe, in which we have discussed similar kind of scenario in which this particular thing is considered. Okay, so we have discussed one similar kind of scenario in one of the questions. If you will watch that question, if you look at the solution of that question, you would have understood and you would have given a correct answer, right? Okay, so the correct answer will not be 48, it is 47 hours. That is option C. All right. So friends, that's all from my side for the day. Thank you for being there in this session. Have a wonderful time preparing for your CAT examination. Please do subscribe, like, and share this channel. No problem, Prabhakar. It's like for CAT 2025. So I don't know, it might happen that people will start joining in soon. People will start watching these sessions soon. Okay. You can recommend your friends to watch these sessions. Till then, have a wonderful time. Bye-bye.